In business, you need to know something about who you're going to help. It's time for stories and movie lines. Hey, today we got Michelle Goth with Ripple Glass. Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great.
Thanks for coming in. And so the format we do, first we're going to talk about what you do for business,
Sure.
and then we're going to talk about you.
Okay.
And then we're going to talk, well, we're just going to do a movie script. So jumping in, like, just in case anyone doesn't know, in this town especially, what does Ripple Glass do?
So at Ripple Glass, our mission is pretty simple. It's to keep glass out of the landfill. And so we both collect glass for recycling. If you've seen our big purple bins around town, you can put waste glass in there, bottles, jars, and then we also process it. So you can't take a used beer bottle and send it straight back into manufacturing for reuse. So there has to be a middleman in there that's cleaning it, getting rid of the labels, plastic, corks, you name it, and then crushing it back down to a small size so that it can be reused in manufacturing. Landfills are super expensive to build. They're very expensive to maintain once they're full and capped. You know, that they have to be maintained for hundreds of years after that to make sure that they don't leach out. Past that, there's just a lot of wasted energy and resources that we could have recaptured if it had been recycled.
So I was reading on your site, recycling needs to be local to be effective. Why is that?
Well, it especially does for glass, because glass is heavy to transport. You can only put so much in a truck before you're legally over, the weight to go on across the highway. The more you have to transport a material, the less eco-friendly it is. So we have a great system here for glass, where we're collecting glass locally, we're processing it right in Kansas City, and then Owens Corning in Kansas City, Kansas, in the Fairfax district, they're taking it and using it in place of raw materials.
Okay, so the stat that stood out to me was like, for every ton of glass recycled, it saves, I need to say this whole line again.
Yes.
That was horrible. The thing that blew me away from your website was, for every ton of glass recycled, it saves 600 pounds of CO2 from being into the air.
So what happens is that when you use recycled glass in place of the raw materials, at the point of melting, so Owens Corning is remelting everything, then spinning it out into fibers for the fiberglass insulation. At the point of remelting, it will melt at a much lower temperature, uses less energy, and also burns cleaner.
Why are people so excited about what you're doing at Ripple Glass?
I think we're giving people a chance to help, and they really understand how they're helping. So we were so lucky that Boulevard essentially started and founded Ripple Glass as a result of their own need for glass recycling at their manufacturing facility. So I think that there's just a great local tie that they can drink something that they love, and then they're able to contribute and give back in a meaningful way. And I think it's just a super tangible way to give back to the community.
Now we're going to talk about Michelle and about your life. So how did you get started in business life?
So I went to school at Truman State in Kirksville, from a small town in Missouri. I was happy just to get here and just to be in a bigger town where there's more opportunity. And folks that are more like-minded with me.
Wow.
I went through an interview process with Ripple. They needed someone who could do a little bit of everything, because at the time they only had 2 administrative employees. We were tiny. I moved into more of a sales or sourcing role for Ripple for a few years, and then 2 years ago I was put in a position of general manager.
Everyone has their work style. Do you see yourself more as like a visionary type that's like seeing things and then and could see the future, or do you see yourself more of like an integrator?
I'm really more of a visionary type. I think it's challenging because I can't afford to be only a visionary type at Ripple, because we are that small, and we do have quite a bit of process. We've got we have a manufacturing facility essentially. We
Huge
have,
process.
We have a fleet. We have logistics. We have programs and equipment. So I've learned I have to hire folks that are more detail oriented than me to manage the day to day. But my head is normally in the clouds.
So do you have any advice for people who are just getting started in recycling or otherwise?
Well, I had a finance degree, and I had no environmental science background, no nothing. So I think the important thing, there are nonprofits out there that are focused on environmental issues, and they're going to want you to have some sort of environmental science background.
Yeah.
But a lot of folks out there doing recycling and waste management, it's just a business.
Yeah.
Just a business like anything else. Ripple, we're an LLC. We're looking for people that have sales skills, accounting skills, logistics management skills, just like any other business. So
now's the part where we do storylines, and that's where we just take a movie that we like, and we read the movie script, and then Justin does his magic, and it's a lot of fun. First one we got is Tombstone, and we got Zoolander, and we also got 007. And which one of those do you think you'd kind of gravitate towards?
I really love Ben Stiller. So let's go with
Zoolander. What do you think about that?
You think you're too cool for school, but I've got a news flash for you, Walter Cronkite. You aren't.
Who are you trying to get crazy with, Essay? Don't you know I'm local?
What say we settle this on the runway? Han Solo? Stop it.
Are you challenging me to a walk-on? Boo. Lander.